Hello, greetings to you all, family and friends of this channel. This is Mark Tech Studios, and I am Mark Nimi. In case this is your first time, we teach here the business aspect of being a creative designer and also some good tips to make your design profession better. All right, and guess what? I have a good news for you. This year, we are going to be hosting a lot different designers who have made a good impact in the design industry, and I'll be hosting them from time to time. You hear from them how they have come to where they are right now. That is a good news, right? Okay, so let's dive into what we have today. In this episode, I want to talk to you about how to make your design process with your client easier. How to make your design process with your client easier. Now, when you win a project or when you want to work on the project, you see, especially when you are starting out, you are so excited about you having to have the opportunity to do a work. So you are afraid not to ask many questions in the beginning. You are afraid not to communicate very well. So you just go ahead and you realize that you have not gotten the right information that will make your work better with the client. So when you submit your work to your client, they reject it. All right. How you will make those rejections, how you will reduce those rejections, how you ensure that your rejections limit is being taken care of. You want to first communicate from the beginning, or you want to first of all ask many questions. Don't be afraid to ask many questions, because some are afraid because they feel like they will lose the client if they ask too many questions. But no, from the get-go of the project, you have to ask all the necessary questions that you need to work with on the project before you go ahead to design. For example, a client messaged me that he wants to print a t-shirt, a black t-shirt, 8 of them. So what I did was that I have to ask him, the size of the text, because it is when you get to work that you will realize that there are so many things you need to know. So from the get-go, you as a creative thinker, right? As a creative thinker, you have to think deep. You have to look at the end of the work and ask all the questions that will enable you to finish the work perfectly. So I asked him, he should send me the text, like the text, the logo. I want to see the size of the text, because we print in A4, A5 sizes. So if the text is too much, I will need to know whether it will enter A4 size or A5 size. All right. Then I have to ask him the quality of the shirt he wants. I give him the ranges. Then he has to send me those texts. I'll have to lay them. I have to know that okay, it will enter this amount. That is before I'll price him. I need to ask all of those questions, every necessary question I need to ask, so that when I give him the price, I will not underprice or I will not overprice the person. The same thing applies to any type of project you want to embark on. For example, a logo. You want to ask all the necessary questions before you start, because you are going to get caught up along the way and you are going to bother the client so much that he would or she will think that you are not professional. All right, because a professional needs to know what he's supposed to get before starting a journey, and that would kind of break your trust. There is a saying that goes this way. It says, if you want to cut down a tree, use 90% of the time to sharpen the knife. Then I'm just paraphrasing. You can use the 10% to cut down the tree. The same thing applies to this profession or any profession. This is like your knife. You want to ensure that you get all the details, all the tools, all the information you will need before you start, so that you will not get caught up. Ask the client, for example, a logo, you want to ask the client the predominant color, or if possible, if it's not too confidential, the person can send you the company's profile so that you have better information about the company. Or the person, you can request for the social media handle or a previous logo the person has done. You can ask for what type of logo the person wants. Is it a text? You want the letter of the name to form an icon, or the person wants some specific icon as a symbol, or you have to ask. You have to ask. Unless the person says do it the way you want, just do it the way you want it. But even though the person will tell you that, ensure you ask many questions as you would want. Don't be afraid that you will lose the client because you're asking too many questions. Don't be afraid, and don't rush to go and start the work because you're excited that you have gotten a job. No, you are going to rather lose your trust if you do not build your trust very well. So I believe that the message has been passed. Ensure you get all the information to make your work process easier and to make your client trust you the more. Please ensure that you subscribe to this channel on the notification button so that you can receive firsthand any new video that I would drop, and also share.